Oh, it depends on what you want to do, right? So.
I don't know. We could go right into conversation. There's your starting point, John.
Yeah, we're trying something new
John,
today.
yeah, John, what'd you try it out? So, all right, you're listening to Polymatic, episode 59, July 6th. There you go.
He
Uh,
has to say it, right? He has to. It's like his
no,
little.
because I have a feeling you're gonna be like FOMO, that you're missing out on the all the info. It's not present. Where is it? I need to know the info. What show am I listening to? Yeah.
Well, it's not
So,
gonna be me.
well, I don't know.
Yeah, unless I mess up the file somehow and they suddenly get disappeared into some folder, and I need to figure out what file is what.
They're all named the same.
Yeah. It says track one something or other.
Track one, Alan, shut up. Track two, John needs to talk.
Yep. Yep.
So it's been a month. What
That's
the
over.
hell has
Yeah.
gone on? Well, apparently the Netherlands is melting.
Well, I think it's mostly because I have some PCs in here that are producing a lot of heat. So in the winter
Well,
it's fine. It's just in the summer that's really not pleasant.
well,
Also have a Cintiq. I have a 21UX,
yeah,
which is known for being very toasty, especially in the summer.
yeah,
In the
but
winter, again, that's not a problem. But in
I,
the
I,
summer,
I didn't mean melting specifically in your room, which obviously clearly is a problem. I meant like melting in the Netherlands in general.
yeah, it's been warm here, but
Yeah,
it's not warm, not that warm today. I think it's like 23 degrees Celsius.
yeah,
That's
we're about that. That's about where we're at, somewhere around there.
yeah. But it's just that this room, it has all this foam on the walls. It's got several machines in here, a soundboard, headphones, headset on my head. Uh, it gets very sweaty. So I have a
Yeah,
fan turned on.
yeah.
Not turned on right now, but it's gonna be turned
You
on
want
when I'm done.
you don't want to turn on the AC because of recording stuff.
Yeah, I don't have AC.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah,
So
it's
just
not really a
fan.
thing here. So
Yeah, but it gets real hot upstairs in my bedroom. Really, just generally upstairs. So, I bought a big. I mean, so heavy you could barely get it up. I mean, picking it up in general is difficult. For me, obviously, I'm a weakling, compared to, let's say, someone like yourself. But my roommate's got a little bit of muscle, and I had this idea one day. I was just going to, with his help, just sort of put it on its side or its back and slide it up, upstairs, and then lean it upright and then drag it into my room. And so I left it near the stairs, like thinking, okay, that's a Saturday thing. And then one Friday, I see it sitting in front of my bedroom door, and he muscled his way up the stairs. But I think he did the pick up, clunk, like heavy, violent drop each step, which in my brain fears like he's probably weakened the stairs. But he did this on his own. And I was like, oh, thank you for doing that, man. He's like, I will never do that again. If you need to get that down, that's on you, man.
throw it out the window.
Yeah, but
Crash on the floor.
it's not one of those window units. It's just the one. It's one of those that
Yeah, I know,
stands
but
upright.
if you ever need to get rid of it, you just chuck it out the window.
Oh no, I think the kind of the same idea I had with trying to put it on its basically on its stomach and push it up. We could probably do that with a combination of two people, sort of one pulling, holding the weight up, and another person pulling, lifting, pushing, or receiving the weight on the bottom, and just slowly bring it down the steps if I need to do that. I think it can be done. Um, Regardless, the point is, I put it in last night into the window, and I let it run for like 6 hours, and my room was nice and cold. And then it remained to be pretty good up until sunrise. It started baking up the room, and then it's still like, I don't know, 79 degrees or something, somewhere around your 23 Celsius. But it was still much more comfortable than a couple nights ago.
Yeah,
Yeah,
wonderful weather.
yeah. But in the
That
basement here, it's good.
I heard you had some gremlins.
Yeah, the gear's been going for a while. I've gone through, I don't know how many headphone amps I've gone through, but I've gone through a bunch of those in the past. Mistake I generally make is because usually when the gremlin happens, um, it's just like I got to spend $150 to buy another headphone amp. In this case, the headphone amp, I got the headphone amp and I'm using the interface card as my live mixer, which is a thing it can do until I can buy the board I intended to replace
Yeah.
with.
But did the headphone amp take your board with it, or was the board
Mm,
already far too gone and you decided to
The
just rip it
board
out?
was going. The channels on the board were slowly dying. And the compressor was also dying. The compressors, I have two of them. Um, well, let me rephrase that. I bought two very inexpensive Behringer compressors that have four independent, discrete compressors built in.
Hmm.
So as a result of that, I could channel up eight, and across on the board it had eight inserts. So I could do all that, and not all of the channels on all of the compressors in these two rack units were dead. But at some point, the board started going, and maybe the compressors are fine, but something was happening on the board with the compressor inserts and the channels, and up to the Gremlins point, which I do remember when I found that out. It was June 15th. Um, I moved my mic onto a separate channel, and yeah, I don't know. At that point it was just like I got to pull the board out, and
Hmm.
so thankfully I have the interface card, which I'm using as a backup. It's not perfect solution, but
Has
it's
it has it got like the XLR inputs or something, or
oh yeah, yeah,
okay?
absolutely. It has six XLR in the front. No, I'm wrong. It has eight XLR on the front. It has balance poles on the back. And then I can route out to eight balanced channels out.
Okay.
So that was one of the things that I was sort of on the analog board. I only really had one out, and I was using a second bank on the headphone amp to kind of do my routes out for signaling. But in this case, I literally have something set to first bank on the headphone amp, second bank to the headphone amp, which is not really in use, one to Skype, one to the recorder, and then I think, I don't know, I use all eight up.
And then the Zoom L20 is going to be your replacement for that.
Yeah, yeah, that will basically take all the channels that I've set up now. On that has six outs, so I'll do a similar kind of thing, right? It is its own recorder, so I don't really need to dedicate a two channels for that, and then I'll route out the other channels to wherever else I need them. Headphone amp primarily and Skype. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of money to spend, and then you spend more money.
Yeah, I bought finally bought the I bought a couple things because I'm amassing gear for film stuff.
Yeah. So you bought the Atomos Ninja.
Yeah, I finally I had traveled for work, and I filled out my expense, did all that thing, it got approved. I was able to kind of just recoup from that to go ahead and spend $700 on an Atomos Ninja 5 recording monitor, which I finally pulled the trigger on this week.
Oh wow.
So I bought that.
What do you think about it?
Um,
What do you think?
I haven't really played much with it. I literally received it yesterday. I turned it on. It seems fine. Seems good. In my scenario, I'm going to be using it for documentary. So I'm going to have the camera sort of stationary. I'm going to have everything sort of stationary and set up in a way that I need. And I had bought a bunch of power strips that also have USB to 2 amp on them, USB power outs on them.
Yeah.
So I intend to kind of strap them to the sides of C-stands and or tripods. So I'll be running power to the monitor and running power to the camera with a dummy USB battery.
Yeah. Do you have an SSD for your Ninja?
I do, yeah.
Is it one of theirs, or is it just an SSD?
No, I just bought an SSD. I didn't buy one of their the ones that they have are really expensive. It's like $400
Yeah, it's only
for
because it's a
half a
smaller form
terabyte.
factor.
Yeah, and so I didn't see the point of that. I don't really care that
Sticks out.
the sticks out a little bit. Now the one thing about it is they give you this piece of plastic SSD caddy. So you have to mount your SSD inside that so that it can sort of slide in, because the SSDs don't have any kind of bracket mounting or anything on it that would fit into the sled of it. So make sure if you do that, yeah, I mean that makes sense.
Can you get multiple of those caddies?
Yeah, I was checking on last night. So when I decided to buy a couple more SSDs, I bought a terabyte 970 Evo for $150 US.
You should print the caddies. Just get them. Get somebody with 3D printer to print them for you.
Yeah, maybe. These are pretty. I mean, once it's in there, it's fine, but it's a pretty thin plastic. But you can. I was looking on Amazon last night. You can buy a 5-pack for $35.
Oh, okay. Not worth the effort then.
Yeah, I mean, they're not that inexpensive. I mean, they're not expensive. They're inexpensive.
Yeah.
So I mean, at that point, and I probably before the event, I definitely should pick up at least one other terabyte SSD. So
yeah, you're gonna be busy in the next couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, up to the event, aside from cutting some footage, because we sort of have a after party, a wrap party, so to speak, which over the years used to be like, we're all tired, we're all hanging out, we're going to play games, we're going to drink, we're going to eat, the convention's going to feed us. And then it turned into, we're renting this place, we only have it for so many hours, get your food in, we're going to run a raffle real quick, now get the hell out. I don't know where it is this year, but it's been requested of me to put some interview footage together to be played there. So okay. I'm sure most people are going to be ignoring it. So I can cut, based on the couple hours of content that I have now, I'm going to cut some of that footage ahead of time for them.
Okay. Did you? I think your Gremlins escaped. They've been traveling the world now. First, they blew up was it a gas thing near Philadelphia, and then they traveled further east, and then they with the Cloudflare and Facebook and other banks and stuff. Lots of Gremlins last couple.
Did you say Facebook?
Yeah, Facebook.
Yeah,
Facebook got. It was kind of funny because the problem they had was their images, uploading and downloading images. It's kind of funny that means that all the WhatsApp images also go into Facebook.
Right, because they're all the same server infrastructure.
Yeah, but that means that people who are sending their pictures and think that it's encrypted and that's sent from person to person. No, it's not. It's sent to Facebook.
Yeah. Which is, I only recently put it back on my phone because I needed to get in contact with somebody who prefers that method. That was requested of me, so I just said okay.
So you put WhatsApp, or was it Facebook?
No, WhatsApp. No, not Facebook. Okay. No. Facebook can rot in hell, as far as I'm concerned.
Well, so can WhatsApp. If I could remove it, I would. It's just that there's so many people that use WhatsApp because that's what they're used to.
Mm-hmm.
They just have no idea what's being done with their stuff. I went to see Spider-Man Far From Home this week. I actually saw it twice.
Yeah, and
Have you seen it yet?
I've not.
Okay. You should.
I have
pretty good.
not really kept up with all the Spider-Mans since Tobey Maguire. And there were a couple after that didn't involve him. And even like the second Spider-Man with him was okay. It was more cheesy
Have you
than
seen
good.
have you seen Endgame?
I have, and so I know
Okay.
who the actor is. I've
Okay.
seen that character in Captain America and in Avengers and all that stuff. So
Okay.
I don't have an issue with him. That's Spider-Man. That's not my problem. My problem had been they kind of rebooted badly several times after Tobey Maguire,
That's kind
and
of
it was
Sony.
just lots of like, I can't. I don't want to deal with another Spider-Man. Like there didn't seem to be any consistency they were holding on to.
No, of course not, because the first 3 were bad, and then the 2 follow-up sequels, reboots were bad, and now the ones that they actually did with Marvel, they're actually pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Really
So
like
maybe
them.
I should just reboot with that. I got to go take a look at that because it literally just sounded like you mentioned like 5 movies up until the Marvel reboot.
Yeah, there's about 5 of them. Yeah, there's 1, 2, and 3,
Yeah.
and then 3 is the emo Spider-Man with
The
Tobey
first
Maguire.
one,
Yeah.
the first one with Tobey Maguire, I didn't mind. The second one, I thought the sort of Doc Ock,
Yeah.
Oct, whatever, was pretty cheesy. And then the one with William Dafoe was just so, I don't know.
It was horrible.
I'm not into it.
No, but then there was the other guy for two
movies or something.
They were not good. I did not like them. And then the last 3, 2, 3. There's Homecoming. Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember.
Yeah,
The newer Spider-Man movies.
I put them out of my mind. I blanked them out. I didn't even watch them. And that's sort of how I held on to it. And so is the most recent Spider-Man, is that the brand new reboot or is that the second movie into that iteration?
I think it's the second movie.
Okay. Because I felt like there was a movie prior to that I hadn't seen yet.
There's Spider-Man Homecoming and Far From Home.
Right. Far From Home is what's in theaters now, I think, right? Yeah, pretty sure.
Far From Home is in the theaters now.
Okay,
yeah.
so Homecoming, I probably should go run or something this weekend or a weekend before I go to Otakon. Oh yeah.
You know, if you watch if you before you watch Far From Home, you have to watch Homecoming first.
Right. Yeah, I would figure.
Yeah. It's you kind of need that information, but then you need to actually watch some of the other movies as well. But you watched Endgame. You're just watching it all in different orders. Tony Stark is in it in Homecoming.
Okay. Yeah. I know there is some like handoff. I mean, I don't know if we have spoiled anything with Endgame, but I know
2
there's
months
some
into that movie. I think we're fine.
Yeah, I there's some handoff to make Spider-Man the new Stark.
Nah.
So, character. Yeah.
Too many movies to watch.
Yeah, I getting the time on the weekend to just sort of stop the world and go see a movie is not. I don't know. I just don't have. I don't have as much bandwidth as I used to have for these things. Yeah. I'm trying to remember what the last thing that I saw in the theater. I saw the Men in Black movie, which was.
Have you seen John Wick?
I have not. I've not seen any of the John Wick movies at all.
You're
So
missing out.
right. So everyone keeps saying that. Matt was saying very much the same thing, but when he's a super fan of things, he really overanalyzes everything, and so I get to hear about it a lot. And so sometimes I have to take that with a grain of salt because he really likes it, but that does not mean that I will really like it. And so my sort of whatever, I don't know, hesitation field, there's a better name for it, I'm sure. I was trying to roll through a bunch of Star Trek terms. Uh, but something slows me down from adopting the idea of watching it when I get sort of berated with people around me with too much
Go watch it.
enthusiasm.
Go
Yeah.
watch it.
So I recognize that I need to go rent, Wick 1, 2, then I can catch up with 3.
I think some of them are on Netflix.
Okay. So that would be easier, better than me, sort of renting it through Amazon.
Oh yeah, this week Stranger Things season 3 came out as well. Oh, wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watched it on Thursday.
Yeah.
So that was before and after I went to Spiderman Far From Home again.
Yeah.
I watched that movie twice. Once with my brother, once with a colleague.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, gotta go watch the movie again.
I will restate it. I'm sure I have plenty of times. I just sort of couldn't get into Stranger Things.
Oh, the first 2 seasons are actually less dark than this season. It's so. I'm gonna watch it again, but it's like there were moments where I was like, oh, I don't want to actually continue this movie because this series because it's getting so not fun. The first two seasons were more like the Goonies or something, like something
Right.
entertaining and the kids making getting into trouble, over getting into stuff over their heads, and they're being badasses, and then there are some deaths in the first two seasons, but 3 is like off the wall. It's like, what the hell?
I felt the "you're gonna waste my time" vortex right in the first season, and I immediately sort of couldn't get behind it because I could feel the force trying to pull me towards it, and I was like, nope.
They're not wasting time. They're definitely not wasting time.
And then
really not.
Then I was just like, I'm not watching season 2 because I sort of rejected season 1.
What episode did you get to in season 1?
Oh, I don't even know. But I could see sort of the obvious markers of, this series is X number of episodes. Oh, we're going to get to X last episode. We're still going to be very unresolved. They're going to sort of tease something along. Got it. I think it's going to be this. And then I hear, it was that. And, I was like, yep, it has this sort of
I think you're
vampire.
assuming too much here, but, it's your loss.
It is my loss. And I was just like, I don't need a spooky Goonies in my life. So for me, I couldn't get behind it. I just couldn't do it. It's not my thing. But
I think
it's okay.
The seasons end properly. I think that they did it well.
Yeah.
Anyway, also I did listen to Homefront for the Expeditionary Force book series. They made an audio drama.
Oh yeah.
And it was really, really bad. It's like I couldn't get through it, so I've paused it and I'm not listening anymore. I think I'm gonna ask for a refund because it's just a waste. Hopefully they'll just skip to the next with the next book. They'll just stick to one narrator because they had some good narrators in there. The problem was all the music and stuff that they put in. It was really really not good.
Yeah.
It's like apparently the first 40 minutes are like the worst of the book, and then after that it gets better. But I don't know, man. I haven't seen any signs that it's gonna get better. So yeah, I'm not recommending that one. I think I did for the last episode or something. But yeah.
Do you know when The Expanse is supposed to be released? Is it coming this year?
Yeah, this year. Near in autumn.
My
I think they got a panel here somewhere. A panel on some sort of event. Expanse
probably
panel.
probably one of the Comic-Cons.
Yeah, I think so. They have a Philadelphia Comic Con. What the hell is that?
Yeah, it's not your New York or your San Diego. It's not. You have to realize that most of these Comic Cons, including the original one, were just big dealer, like most computer shows, were
Yeah.
just big rooms where you could have like sport events or theater
Buy stuff,
events
yeah.
or whatever to buy stuff. That's all they were.
they
Wizard
used-
World, all the Comic-Con formats were just always that big dealer rooms with a couple side rooms where they might invite someone of note who signs autographs in said room or does a panel, but they are not like full-on entertainment conventions, which is what anime cons became. They became full-on entertainment conventions towards the anime industry, and then San Diego Comic-Con turned it into something, a larger event, which includes Hollywood, because Hollywood was crossing over into all these comic book movies. And so you got all your sci-fi and your comic book stuff.
I understand.
And so that's what San Diego Comic-Con is. And New York Comic-Con is try to copy that. And they're not brother and sister, just generally in the general institution of the Comic-Cons, but not like directly tied to each other. They're not related at all. So Philadelphia Comic-Con, while Wizard World is going to have a couple things going on in terms of maybe a couple panels and invite a couple guests, it's just a big dealer's room.
Yeah.
It's not worth spending $80
I saw that
to go see.
at Amsterdam Comic Con as well.
Yeah.
There was also Utrecht Comic Con.
Yeah.
Here in the Netherlands. It was
San Diego.
It's just dealer rooms.
Yeah.
That's it.
San Diego
Buy our stuff.
Comic-Con success is a huge event. New York's version of it is not nearly in the same kind of scale. They do have the same quality level of individuals that come there. And sometimes they have some exclusive things that like San Diego Comic-Con would get. But they are just, your local Comic-Con is not the same thing.
Yeah, I know, I understand.
Yeah. I know, I mean, that was just more of a whine and complaint to everybody else. Because I've gone to a couple of these things hoping that, this would be really cool if there was something, in my backyard, so to speak. And, it turns out, no, they're just, sort of surfing on that Comic-Con brand and the success of San Diego's thing. And, getting the opportunity to invite a couple guests, but most of the time it's just a profit machine. So, before I forget, so we were talking about the Ninja Riot, so we had a couple links for that.
Yeah. Whoops.
Polymatic.link/QJQK. So the QK one is Gerald Undone. He's talking about Kodak, which is probably a good video to watch anyways. But then he also goes into sort of the benefits of buying a recording monitor, and he highlights the Atomos as for example. Another thing which I didn't put on this list here is I also bought in between all that sort of whenever the last time we did a show, I bought the Rode Wireless Go.
Okay.
Lav kit. For $200, it's really good. And then another $15, you can get one of the omnidirectional smart lavs that are meant for the iPhone. You could tap that in, and it works as a really good wireless lav kit.
Okay.
Very impressed by it, especially for cost.
And it's wireless, so it goes to a radio or something.
It does whatever the 2.4 gigahertz spectrum or whatever it is. So I didn't really test it, but it's supposed to do something like 200, 300 feet or something like that. Or I might be getting that wrong. We have to look up the numbers. I remember 229. I don't know if that's meters or feet.
If it's meters, that's a lot.
That's pretty far, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's that.
2 soccer fields. Wow.
I don't think it's that good. I mean, obviously in the house, it does a pretty good job. My big test is in the house. If I diagonally cross a certain area where all of the plumbing infrastructure is, where a lot of the heavy metal infrastructure in the houses around the kitchen. I cross that area, work just fine, no
Yeah, but
problem.
2.4 is going to do that, right? That doesn't have the problem that 4 gigahertz has, because
Yeah.
that will just cut out with any source of water or anything in between. It'll just cut out.
hmm I mean, pretty impressive. Given price, pretty good price on it. The only thing about it is the batteries are internal, so you have to recharge them. They're about 7 hours or something is what they last on a full charge.
How long did it take to charge?
It didn't take that very long, actually. I never did a full charge because I haven't really put them through their full use yet. But because there's a 3.5 millimeter jack on the transmitter, you could connect that up to like shotgun mics, things like that you get for video cameras, or little like the Rode. Was it wireless? They have I don't know, wireless. They have a little like the Rode Mini or something like that. That's pretty good too. That's like a mini shotgun. So you could connect it up to the DDs or the Video Mic Pros or whatever it is, and then you could have basically a wireless.
Did,
Boom.
Did you just build yourself a rig for like everything to put everything on it?
Well, for the small rig stuff, yeah, I already did that on the A6400. Yeah, no, I mean,
you're like one of those.
I've been
the
fully
guys from,
kitted up.
Linus Tech Tips, like the giant rig. You have like one of those shoulder mounts as well.
No, because for my purposes, it's going to be on a tripod that's going to be locked down. And most of that stuff is going to be attached to like a pole and probably a cheese plate, where everything is going to be mounted up, and the H6 or recording and stuff. All that stuff is just going to be sitting on that. So, but anyhow, so I bought it. Okay, 70 meter range is what it says.
Okay.
When I'm looking at something, yeah. Pretty good. Sounds good. The mic on it is not too bad. And again, you can get some omnidirectional mics inexpensively that work really well with it. Yeah. So I just thought that was worthy because I forgot that I also bought that.
Have you played Factorio?
I did a little bit, and I could see where it could suck me in. The thing that to do a disservice to you trying to get me addicted to it was the music, which is something I never listened to anyways. In a lot of these games, I just turn the music off. For some reason, was making the graphics card, spin up and was slowing down the system. So I killed the music and it was fine. Turned the music off, and then it was like, oh, hey, I got my processing back. Why he was doing that, I have no idea.
Okay.
But so I played that a little bit, but I haven't actually had much free time to even play the Switch. So yeah. So no, I can
eventually
totally
convert you.
I could see where, because you could build all these sort of systems upon systems upon systems. And I have to spend more time with it to really kind of fully get a sense of it, or I got to watch some Let's Play videos to get a better sense of, the systems and the mechanisms in the game.
Yeah. Well, it's a very entertaining game. Also, World of Warcraft came out with a new patch for.
Oh, yeah?
It's of Ashara something. Tides of Ashara, whatever. It's okay. It's not really, it does add a lot more content, but it's getting to a point where I could see the little tricks they pull to keep people entertained, but it's not working as much.
Right. Well,
So
I mean,
it's just more daily quests and stuff. I'm like, yeah, I'm not spending my time on this. So I've been doing a lot of artwork recently. That's it's been good. I've been working on book 2, for art book, and I've scoped it out I think I've scoped out most of it, and I have everything in InDesign now, and I need to figure out how I'm gonna even complete this before April. It's a lot of work
of next year.
April of next year. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, because it's already passed.
Yeah, next year or the year after. I have
Yeah.
some commissions out already that are gonna be hitting my inbox at some point. So
Hmm.
yeah, waiting for replies from artists.
I will say, in forcing myself to have to sort of redo the, pull the board out and do all that, I did a lot of rewiring. I bought a while ago one of these sort of cable channels.
Yeah,
So I basically wired a lot of what was coming from the mic arms and headphone, stuff like that. So it allowed me to sort of clean up the studio, which was a thing I was intending to do. And I was using the when I replace the board as my excuse.
yeah.
But, I had to make myself do it because this board had sort of died. So I had to kind of replace
Well,
the gear.
sometimes cleaning up it gets you more energy to actually do something else. So
Sure,
when you
yeah.
clean up, I have a tendency to make a mess and then not clean up stuff and then get wallowing in the total amount of mess around me and I can't do anything because there's such a mess around me and then not getting anything done because I've been
Yeah.
procrastinating, thinking, oh well, it's such a mess there. I'll just go play something on my Switch.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Well,
So
it's
I
between the stuff you get from work because you've been busy at work, and now because I have deliberately toned down the amount of work that I get, the amount of work that I do at work. I can actually do something when I get home, so I
mhm.
can actually do work on my
You have
own projects and stuff.
right, you have the energy for it.
Yeah,
My father is one of those people where he starts a thing and it's not that he abandons it. Abandoning it, you would think, okay, you haven't come back to that in a year. For him, in his brain, he'll still come back to it. He just does it in really micro amounts over 20
tiny
years.
steps.
Yeah, tiny little steps over 20 years. And he'll eventually complete it. But, like, basically from the outset, it looks like he creates a mess. He just sort of stops and doesn't come back to it. And in his brain, he thinks he's coming back to it. And again, given enough decades, he will. But, I just sort of got the behavioral pattern sort of instilled in me where if I start something, I finish something. So, like last night, and actually 2 days ago, I made a bunch of cold brew, and I made a lot of it because I ran out, and I just, I've been busy enough where I haven't had the time frame to stop for an hour to prep it, put it in, do the thing, and then like corresponding, 24 hours later, have an hour or two to like drain everything, clean everything up. I just haven't had the pockets of time. And so last night, I did all the stuff. I did all the cleanup, everything. It took a couple hours. And, it was a lot of work, but I didn't just abandon it. Some part of my brain was like, I want to go watch a movie. Some part of me wanted to go run away. And I was like, no, I instilled that sort of thing in me because I saw how bad my father was with this. To sort of, when I start something, I finish it. I get it when it's something like a software project where there's a lot of little tiny iterations. You have to hit some goals and then, you progress on that.
So what I've been doing is I've been using OmniFocus for this.
Right. How has that been working out?
Yeah, it's pretty good. I really like it. I've started planning all the projects I've been doing in it, and even like house stuff, like clean the kitchen, clean the living room, clean the bedroom, clean the maker space, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
Clean the hamsters. Not that I forget about them, but it's just easier to plan it because then I can say, okay, so it needs to happen on this day, and then from this time to this time, I can just spend that time on that, and then I get some neurotransmitters like I've done this, yay!
Right.
Congratulations, John, you've done it.
You've checked something off the mental list of things,
Yep.
or
No,
in your
not
case,
actually mentalist. I'm specifically doing it so I can check it off. Saying, okay, I've done this.
right, right. I was going to say
It
specifically
it also
your
helps
OmniFocus list.
not having to keep this in your brain. So if you put this into the list, you know you'll get back to it because it will nag you about it. Say, okay, you need to do this now, right? So you say, okay, I need to do this on Friday. When you get home, turn on the dishwasher and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
right? And that really, no longer have to keep that in mind. Or when you walk by, you don't have to remind yourself, oh, I need to remind it to turn that thing on and do that thing, right? Really cut down on that mental space. So that has been really helping with me not having all these things for work in my brain either, because I've been putting that stuff in there as well, and that checking certain parts of the company software, like checking events or whatever
Mm-hmm.
that need to happen. I need to check stuff for invoicing or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. So that really helps. I really like it. I think it would be nice if there was like an Android or a Windows version of that application. It would be really nice.
Yeah, we've had this conversation on these kind of task manager to do managers, and I use various ones to sort of remind me. They're great when it's something that's a regular pattern. I've already sort of trained my brain,
Yeah,
so
but the thing
I'm
is,
already
the,
good.
the, the thing for me is to take that out of my brain so I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to keep myself, there's not a process running, hey, John, you need to do this. Hey, John, you need to do this. Right? This is something that happens for me anyway. When um, the cool thing about this application is because you can set like create like template projects basically. Say okay, so for example, I do a lot of artwork, and one of the things that I do is make because I'm working on the book, I need to do certain things for every picture.
Mm-hmm.
Like export a high resolution one, export to the artist sites and stuff, and that I just have to go through that checklist and I can plan. Okay, I've got this much time this week, so I can do
Right.
3 pictures or whatever, and then we'll do. Yeah, it really helps, and
Yeah.
that takes out all the. Oh, you got to post it to this. Did I post it to this? No, I didn't, because I didn't check it off.
Yeah. I go through various degrees of this stuff with various different little applications to sort of manage something that I'm not keeping track of well. And by way of it keeping track of me checking off those things, I've learned to it's sort of a memory game for me. And I've sort of now have a natural impulse for it, which also sort of motivates everything else going on in my life. In terms of, Alan, you need to get up this time on Saturday, but I don't want to. I want to sleep in. No, no, no. You got to get up. You got stuff to do.
Because there's
Um,
somebody in Europe that's gonna be grumbling.
so for me, that is sort of like the mechanisms I need. I need my brain to motivate me so that it helps me make kind of decisions. Now, for me, that's just how I operate, and I know that that helps sort of the psychology of my brain and my
Oh,
decision making and
I can keep this
everything.
stuff in my brain. It's no
Yeah.
problem. It's just that if I don't have to spend all this mental energy to keep everything in my brain,
Right.
right? And it's not just um, it's the, I need to keep it in my brain, what I need to do, and I need to keep thinking about it because there's
Mm-hmm.
something that I need to do for that, right? So
Yeah.
there is some project part that I need to build. That's great, but as long as I don't need to keep thinking about it, then I won't be building it in my brain while I'm doing other stuff, right? So instead of
I
spending all
understand.
that mental energy on working on the project that I'm going to work on next, I can just focus on the thing that I'm actually working on right now, which is something else, and then that will be better, right? So I don't. I could keep trying to put all the things that I still need to do into my brain, or I can just offload it to the application, and the application does that for me. So then I can forget about it.
Yeah.
well, forget about it. It's like I'm still gonna think about it, but it's like it's less top of mind, constantly thinking about the same about a project I still need to do in the future at some point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it really cuts down on that noise.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I said, for some of these things, it those kinds of things have not worked as effectively for me because then I got more interested in it was more of swiping the notification away. Yeah, stop bothering me. I know I'll get to it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
I get that, but it's like because the notifications I can put them onto my. They also end up on my Apple Watch, so that kind of helps me. I also put like stuff I need to get from the shop. So if I have like I put in I buy this on Monday, I buy this on Wednesday, I buy this on Friday, right? So on Friday it's all stuff for the weekend, right? So I don't have to keep going to the shop every day. That's what I've been doing because I forget that I need something or other, and instead I just now buy whatever I put in that list, and then the cool thing is it does. You have something called reviews. So at the end of the week, or you could say every week, or every month, or every year, or whenever time period you want, you can get that into your review. So you review that project. If that project's like iterative, when it starts a new one, it'll look for, hey, is this still what you want it to be, the project? And then you can maybe cut some stuff out or whatever. But I just know I put in, I want to buy this on Friday for the weekend because it's like, I want some snacks and I want some other more snacks and more snacks and more snacks.
Oh,
And
look,
forget
look!
snacks.
I don't need a tracker for that. I inherently know I want more snacks.
No, it's more like Pepsi or
Right.
toilet paper or whatever. It's like the basic stuff that I don't need to keep reminding myself that I need. Right? I know that I'm gonna need certain amounts of stuff for the weekend, and if I know, I can decide in the store if I want to buy pancakes for tomorrow or whatever. It doesn't say like specifically pancakes. It says food for Saturday, food for Sunday,
Right.
food
Yeah.
for Friday. So then I can decide in the shop what I want that weekend. That's fine. It's just that I can take that out of my memory so I don't have to
Right.
go
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday to pick up food.
It sounds like you're more using it like a planner that annoys you.
Yep.
Which is good because I do a version of that. I have a little listing app for things that are groceries or, stuff I got to get at the pharmacy, whatever it is, right? Because I know that if I rely on my memory for that, I will forget. And if I have a fleeting thought, I have to write it down, right? And then next time I'm out of forks.
Yeah,
Or I'm
well,
out
out
of
of toilet
bowls,
paper, and that's a
or-
problem.
Right. And it's like, oh, crap. And I was just there.
Literally.
So like I get that. Totally understand that. Places to write stuff down, to write ideas down, to write thoughts down, and then go back to and resource them when it's necessary. So like I totally do that.
Repeats. So if you set it to repeat every Friday or every Monday or whatever, it just repeats.
Yeah.
And then you get, and if you at some point you get to a review, and then you say, okay, I want to take this out, take this out, take this out, and you can do whatever whenever you want to do that, but it's just more like it's so you don't have to keep thinking about it, right? So that review is when you do the reviews. So, are you still there?
I am. I just need you to finish your thought.
Okay.
Because
It's like he was like, her.
Well, no, I do the same thing, right? You just let me rant until I finish. So I needed to let you rant about OmniFocus until you finish and stop feeding the lion.
I'm not usually the guy that goes on and on about stuff.
I know, no, that's totally okay. Remember the top of the show?
Yep.
Track, Alan needs to shut up.
I'm going to put that into the OmniFocus thing. Yes, Alan needs to shut up.
No. You need to make that. Stop. Don't call it Gremlins. Call it Alan needs to shut up.
Alan is a
title of the
gremlin.
show.
You're one of those singing gremlins.
Don't pour water on them.
Yeah, don't pour water on Alan, or he'll just multiply.
Or put him in the microwave.
All right, don't feed him after midnight.
Don't feed me after midnight.
Okay, so we've got some fun stuff and stuff to share. Alan, I think you're first.
Yeah, I had this sort of deep in the list. So Blender is open source 3D software, and it generally at first was reasonably impressive, and then I don't know, it's been around for maybe 10 years. It is incredibly impressive piece of software, up to the point that a lot of visual effects artists use it in concert with professional tools. And a really good highlight is someone made a movie. It's up on the Blender YouTube channel, Polymatic.media/QI. The movie's called Spring. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Short little film, but really amazing. And just imagine that that was just done with, I don't know if there's a collection of individuals who contributed to this, but I mean, rendered with basically probably a gaming PC. Probably nothing super professional. Maybe some Quattro cards. Something.
No, the one's probably going to take longer if you use a normal gaming PC or something.
But made with open source 3D software.
Yeah.
Very amazing. Very impressive.
Nice. Yeah. There are a lot of artists that I know use it for either turning their 2D pictures into some animation or something like that. Or adding stuff in 3D to their 2D pictures or whatever.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. I've got some music. Korok Dreams by Jake Kaiser, Polymatic.media/QG. That's inspired by Breath of the Wild. It's got lots of Korok sounds in there. Like when you find one and the sounds. Anyway, Polymatic.media/QG for that. And I've got a book recommendation. I haven't read it yet, but I have listened to some the first 5 minutes of it or something. And apparently it's a very good book. A lot of people are very raving about this. Polymatic.media/QH for Wanderers by Chuck Wendig. So, yeah. I guess that's it. I think we got some talk about where people are, right?
I suppose.
The
The
hellscape that is Twitter. Where are you, Alan?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter. CHAESS is my last name. I'm on Mastodon, but really the Philly Mastodon doesn't seem to be very busy lately.
I think it's because Mastodon is not very busy.
No, not really. But I mean, my contribution to Mastodon is nil. It's really just to the local Philly one, if anything at all. So yes, I don't know. You can find me over there too. Twitter's the place. I've been doing more Instagram because now they got a camera that lets me get nice pictures there. But Twitter.
Do you want to share your Instagram?
No, not really.
Let's go to Twitter. It'll probably end up there.
Yeah. Okay,
you can find me on Twitter at twitter.com/webdevy, WEBDEVVIE. For feedback, you can reach us at podcast@polymatic.media. Our Twitter is the Polymatic. Our website is polymatic.media. And I hope you tune in next time. There's no unce this time.
No, there's no unce.
No unce.